Welcome to the Landscaping Podcast. My name is Joel Barnett and I'm your host. And today's episode, I'm talking with Brady Skevington from Boutique Timeless Landscaping. Brady's a landscaper doing residential and commercial work in Western Australia. And this chat, out of all the episodes I've done, is one of the most fun that I've had to do because he's just an awesome fella to talk to. So I was smiling and laughing pretty much the whole time through this chat. And that's also why it's a bit longer because I was just having so much fun. I didn't want to stop talking to him. So I certainly enjoyed it. And he's got some great ideas about how he does things and why he does it that way and how things should be done. And also liked at the start how he talked about how much he loves landscaping and how it's the best trade. So it's obvious that he loves what he does, and that comes through in the work that he does. It was also fascinating to hear that he worked for Tim Davies Landscaping as well. So I think it's the fourth or fifth person I've had on who worked for them, and he explains about how, in terms of not so much designers but landscape builders, about why so many people work for him, because it's a bit of a different way things get done in WA compared to the rest of the country. So it was fascinating hearing how different it is over there. And unfortunately, the audio is not that great when I'm talking in this one. So apologies for that. There's a couple of episodes I've done that. I plugged the microphone in, but it still doesn't work properly. But should be all fixed now because I'll test it every time before doing one. So it won't happen again. But luckily, Brady does most of the talking in this, and he's awesome to listen to. So hopefully you enjoy this chat with Brady Skevington. Brady, thank you very much for joining us on the Landscaping Podcast. My first question for you is, how did you start in the industry?
Thanks for having me on, Joel. Bit of a different start to me. I'm a Kiwi originally, and when I was living temporarily in Wellington, I thought to myself, I'll give landscaping a bit of a go. So got on the computer, started asking around, didn't really get any bites. And then eventually I got one guy that touched base with me and said, come out and have a trial day. And I thought, this is brilliant. I've cracked it. I'm going to make it in the big game, as they say. And then I went there the next week, did my trial day. He handed me a hammer and a nail punch, and I spent the entire day punching nails on a deck in the pissing rain. And by the end of the day, I think that had pretty much broken my soul a little bit. So put that on hold for about 6 years, moved over to Perth. A few mates wanted me to come over here, so I thought, bugger it, why not? Then had a few just dead-end jobs, then thought to myself, how do I kind of get a job or a career that I think I could enjoy living in Perth? Because I love living in Perth, and I loved the ethos of, just great work-life balance here in Perth. And I thought, I'll give landscaping another go. I wrote a CV that included that information, that I worked for this guy, not for 24 hours, but for however long. And then I submitted it to one of your previous guests, Tim Davies Landscaping, and I got a job there about 10 years ago, right at the bottom. So I remember my first day, I got in the truck with my leading hand then, Jason, and I said, hi, I'm Brady. I've never landscaped before in my life, but I'll work my ass off and I'll learn whatever I need to learn to, get things done. And the rest is history, mate. It's just been a block on a block on a block from there, and just really faking it till I make it. And it's kind of worked.
That's the way I do it as well. I've been doing that for nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
So they didn't bring out a nail punch on day one or anything, did they?
No, that was I can't remember where I was. I think it was a beautiful suburb called Dalkeith here in Perth. And I rocked up and I just stood at the gate of this mega mansion, and I thought, what am I doing here? Bit of imposter syndrome. And I thought, well, if this is my first day, then I'm going to give it my all. And then I was there for 3 years and thought to myself, wow, this is the place to be. This is the career I want. And at not one point during that time did I think, oh, I'd love to run my own business. It just felt right at TDL. It was a beautiful place to work. And to be honest, walking onto some of those properties was one of the most incredible moments, because you're just seeing money and just opulence everywhere. It was insane.
Did you do an apprenticeship there?
No, so Perth's a different, odd place. There is no real qualification over here for landscaping as a whole, and that makes it difficult for everyone. It makes it difficult for the likes of myself when I started out. And it also makes it difficult for me now as a business owner looking for staff, because when you are looking for staff, or just anyone that wants to be a landscaper, are they under the impression that they are just going to get given a shovel and a wheelbarrow and then they're going to be pushing dirt for 2 years? Or and then that's the hard part. So I started off just as an offsider, and you learn on the job, you learn how to read plans, you learn how to hardscape, softscape, retic, do a little bit of lighting, and then you just have to really evolve your skills internally. I think of all the companies in Perth that does it right, TDL is insane, and I'm nothing but thankful for them with what they've given me with my knowledge and my start, because they are an incubator for young landscapers to become their competition or their workers or their contractors. It's lucky that we have companies like that here and another couple around, because if we didn't, I just don't think we would have the amount and the skill of staff that we do have here.
It's almost like they are the industry body training everyone rather than doing an apprenticeship. They're kind of the ones that are teaching the industry.
Absolutely. Because if you were to do it in a business like mine, we're a very small business, boutique, as you could say, it's in the name. But if I was to bring on 2 staff, imagine how much effort would be put into trying to train them and focus on the business and focus on the construction and focus on just everything at once. To be able to try and do that all in one is just near impossible. So you kind of got to try and poach, I guess, which is rough, but I guess that's just the way they've set themselves up and the industry kind of is over here. I just really wish that our kind of tertiary education facilities had a bit more emphasis on filling this huge void that we have over here for skilled labor. I'd say that the biggest benefactor out of all of this is Seek. They should just be a non-for-profit, because the amount of money that we give them, everyone in this industry, and get nothing back, it's quite incredible, really.
They put their prices up as well. So you pay more now than what you did 5 years ago, and you get less applicants.
Yeah, and I saw an ad on TV the other day, and I think that's the only thing out of Seek that I've probably benefited from. I got 30 seconds of airtime, but yeah, I've got no applicants with any form of. They don't have to have skill. They've just got to have the work ethic, and to be honest, it's just not there. There's no one there that wants to even try, which is a shame.
Yeah, it's insane that what's included in the applications that you get are completely irrelevant to what the job is that you're advertising.
Just as simple as a driver's license, and they don't have it. And you think to yourself, well, how are you going to get to site, mate? Like, it's not an office job. But yeah, hey, there's always hurdles, and it's been fun trying to overcome them. But that's the biggest one. Just trades. You can't get them. Can't get anyone. But
what were you doing in the 6 years prior to that, in between those 2 landscaping careers?
So I was hospitality, heavy into hospitality. Came over here, just worked in bars and drive-through bottle stores, which were quite a novelty for me because we don't have them back home.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was quite exciting. It was like a little bit of Disneyland for beer. Then that novelty wore off. Then, funnily enough, I just started loading road trains with forklifts. What a job! Inspiring, really. Absolutely sucked. So it wasn't hard to try and find a career that pushed me into more of a challenge. I'm from a farm base back home, so I'm used to long hours, hard slog, really giving it you just work until the job's done effectively. And that made it easier to transition into quite a physically demanding trade, because realistically, I don't know what else I'd do. It's just, landscaping is awesome. Every day is a different opportunity. You'll never have the same day. And I try and say it to the staff all the time. There might be 30 cubic meters that we have to move, but I can promise you we'll never have to do it again on that job. Maybe another one, but maybe, it's forever changing, forever evolving. And every day is different. And that's the best thing about it. You don't have a stack of papers to go from this side of the desk to the other. You've got a sandpit that you turn into an oasis for someone to just absolutely lose their mind in, which is great. What an industry we have.
Yeah, and what a place to work as well. Like Perth is a bit nicer than Wellington because of the weather.
Yeah, it is. However, you can't just dig a hole and bung something in and hope it, grows. It's we're pretty much just a big long beach here, and that was a big learning curve. Just all the soil prep. My goodness, you don't get that right, a garden looks great for 3 months and then the whole thing's dead. So yeah, lots of water, learning retech, that's a new one. Water, soil prep, all those beautiful things that you just have to really grasp, and you don't realize how important they are until you start seeing plants struggle. And then you go, right, this is where you just got to amp it up.
Yep.
And the good thing is because from the top to the bottom of Perth, it's all the same. There's no one saying, well, why do we need to prep the soil? Why do we need to, put wetting agents in or clay or anything like that? You've just got to do it. It's a no-brainer because you go through a drive to any of the new subdevelopments that have done it themselves, and it's quite self-explanatory as to why we need to do it, because they're all dead.
Yeah. So in Wellington, do they call it irrigation or reticulation?
Well, it just comes from the sky. So I guess you just call that God's gift. I'm not a religious man, but I don't really have any other kind of term or phrase for it. It just comes out of the sky every day. It's and you don't have to program it. You don't have to worry about your how many millimeters you're getting. You just plant it and it goes. So yeah, lucky there. Wellington's always a windy, blowy place. Where I'm originally from, down the bottom of the South Island, wow, it's either raining or covered in snow. So yeah, you're fine with water. The only times that they got irrigation, they've just got it on the dairy farms, and that just pumps. So yeah, no, there's not really a. If you were to be a retech specialist in New Zealand, I think you'd go bankrupt pretty quick, to be honest, mate. That's kind of pointless. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you said you worked 3 years at TDL, is that right?
Yep, I worked 3 years at TDL, and then I went. Was that before? Yeah, and then I went and worked for a couple of mates who were running their own landscaping company, doing a lot of hardscape stuff, and I really liked that aspect of it. I thought it was quite exciting, something different. And then went over to England, did a bit of a year and a half, just overseas experience over there, chilled out. And when I came back, I re-engaged with those blokes I was previously working for, and I just thought, you know what, bugger it. I'm gonna go out on my own, and I'm gonna try, see what comes of it, So at the time, I was lucky enough living with my partner at the time's parents. So overheads were very low. I just had a single cab Hilux, busted around in that. Only problem was I was living about an hour and a half away from Perth itself, in a place called Mandurah. So a bit of a drive, a lot of reflection time to and from.
Good or bad?
Yeah. Sometimes it was good, sometimes very bad. But yeah, and I took the leap, and I thought, why not? I never had a problem working with other people, but there was always something in the back of my mind that thought, what's it like on that side? Some days it's good, some days it's absolutely terrible, but 99.9% of the time it's the best decision you ever make, because you get full control over your life, over what projects you want to do, over what clients you engage, over pretty much everything. And that is the beauty of our job, and that's the beauty of having your own company. But there's a lot of stuff in the background that you got to work through. So I did that for 2 years, and man, I was invisible for 2 years, just doing granny's retech repairs, doing lawn replacements. That just seemed to be my jam at the time, ripping out lawn and replacing it. And after, those 3 days of ripping out 150 square meters and relaying this beautiful palmetto buffalo, I'd take a photo and I'd be like, man, I'm going to put that on the gram. And then I'd look at it and go, no one cares about that. So for 2 years, I was just behind the scenes, just building my business. And it originally started as Brady the Landscaper. That's where BTL came from. And then I got a friend of mine who worked at TDL as a designer, and he goes, look, do you want to have a go on this project? And I was like, finally, yes, I can have a go on like a proper project. So we did that, took photos of it, and I could finally market what I could do. So what was that? That was 3 years. 3 years, and then I finally brought on my first staff member. And then I thought, oh, bugger it. If he makes a mistake when I'm not on site, I don't want everyone going, oh, Brady the Landscaper's crap. So then I had to try and create a name as BTL. So Boutique Timeless Landscaping came about, which actually fit quite well, and I was happy with that. There were a few iterations that I was like, oh, no, that's a bit shit. But yeah, Boutique Timeless Landscaping came out, and that's been us since. And yeah, it's been a journey. Wow. Six.
So was that 3 years ago? That or was that 3 years into starting your own thing?
3 years into. We started 2016. So what are we now? Gee whiz. Oh, wow, 7 years. Whoa, that went fast. So sometimes you've got to take a step back.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, 7 years. Gee, that even surprises me. So yeah, that's been us. And gee, we've had some ups and we've had some downs, but it's all part of the journey, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when, in terms of, wondering what it was going to be like on the other side when you're an employee. I remember my boss was telling me one day he's going to spend a day in the office. And I was thinking, what on earth could you be doing spending a whole day in the office? Surely there's not that much work for you to do in there.
Oh, mate. If there's one thing I wouldn't want to do, it's spend a day in the office. It's like you walk in there and your soul just gets sucked out. Everything just disappears. You look at your emails and you go, hang on, they weren't there yesterday. And then you got your invoicing, you got your quoting, you've got your ordering, you've got your scheduling. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, office. Anyone would think, gee, a day in the office would be great. I don't have to be on the tools. No. Give me a shovel, please. I used to like it at the start because you're getting used to all the, your accounting software and everything was exciting. And now it's just mundane, horrible. I love the emails that are like, well done, would be happy to go ahead and all that. That's exciting. The rest just sucks.
So are you doing your quotes after hours?
I was. And then I realized that I just was destroying myself. It didn't really make sense. Because of our proximity with Perth being so stretched out, though we don't have the traffic problems of over east, sometimes it's just quite a bit of a distance between jobs. Like today we were up in the hills and it's a good hour away just getting there. So 2 weeks ago we were down in Mandurah again doing a childcare centre. It was an hour and a half. So you're up at 5 o'clock. You're getting back at 3, 4 o'clock. I don't want to sit in the office after that. It sucks. So I bought myself an iPad and then Xero. I don't know if we can say, of course we can. So I use Xero and then I just do it all on there. And then I just really worked hard in trying to simplify everything that I do. So trying to work things out as square meter rates, lawn soil conditioners, mulches, lineal meters of steel, stainless steel, lighting cable, all that stuff. So when I was quoting, it became a really streamlined process. And then with the help of online software like Reese, do you use Reese over there for your
Max app, is it?
Yeah, so I use that and I'll basically just do a mud map in my brain, do a really rough order, and then put that into Xero, and then I've got the quote there, and then I'll do it wham bam. So I'll go away, go to site in the morning, make sure the boys are all set up, go do my quotes during the day, then I'll come back, sit in the truck, smash out the quote, and then email it to the client straight away, which has kind of worked in two ways. First being that, I'm not working after hours too stupidly. I'm still in because my office is right there. It's at home. So I'm still in there 7 days a week, but not 8 hours a day. Maybe 1 or 2 hours a day I'm in there. Before work, I'll go in there. After work, I'll go in there for an hour. But then I was just saving myself. And then I've found that by doing the quotes in an hour, I'm getting our business to the email of that client straight away. And we're winning the jobs. Like our acceptance rate has just skyrocketed because though everyone's busy, I've found a way to kind of make that work for me. I'm on site already. Why should I wait an extra 6 hours to do the quote that might add it to a pile of another 5 when I can just do it right there and then send it to the client, or alternatively send it to our designers, because they've been working for months getting these projects, off the ground effectively in terms of design and getting the budgets and getting the clients to a point where they want to install. Last thing they want to do is wait 2 months to get a quote back. So as soon as they come through, I get my little ruler out and I get the scale and I measure on the iPad. And though it might be quite frustrating, I'm getting it back to them as quick as possible. And it works. Like, you're winning the jobs. It's the Wild West, mate. People will steal the jobs from under your nose like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's amazing how just getting back to someone in a quick, short time frame can win you a larger percentage of projects, because they may have just had intention of contacting you only, but then if you take a week to get back to them, then they'll start contacting other people because they don't know whether you're going to get back to them at all.
Exactly. And if you're able to put in provisional prices for, say, glass pool fencing and concreting and decking, which we don't do in-house, I've got a pretty rough idea of what the guys charge square metre rate, or lineal metre rate for the pool fencing. I can put in a provisional sum and really drive that home, like provisional sum subject to site measure. But at least they've got a number there that they can work with. And if that number has to come down, sweet, we can work with that. But if it's in their budget, we're already ahead of the game and we can start talking about when instead of who. We're already the who, which is great. But yeah, I've found that to be massively beneficial to just my mental state as well. I'm not thinking about work till 10 o'clock at night. And turning this thing on Do Not Disturb, wow, that's a difference. It took me like 4 years to do that.
Yeah, it's something I need to do. But yeah, I'm the same. I'm just about under control with all the quotes and permits and everything I've got to get organised.
Yeah,
it's been overwhelming for this whole year. So 6 months worth, I've felt it in the back of my mind every time I'm at home. I'm thinking I should be doing something, but
well, our struggle's been. I pride myself on being an extremely organised person because I see from the back end, I really thrive in that environment. I see it as a real challenge to win a job. That's where I get my dopamine. I'm like, yes, I got the job. And then I'm like, bugger, we've got to build it now. So it's like, all right. So that's when you got to start engaging your trade. So I try to give them at least 3 or 4 months notice. And then what's happening is we're getting to 2 to 3 weeks out from that start date. And then builders are saying, oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, we're 4 months delayed. And you're going, if you're 4 months delayed now, you were 4 months delayed 4 months ago. You could have just told me. And I was telling one of the boys on site today because on Monday was the first time this year that we've rocked up to site on the day that we were meant to start. And that's gross because it's May. It's like you would hope that you'd be able to just one job in January, February, March. Nah, May. It's taken till May for us to go onto a site the day that the client and I agreed. I'm not putting it all on the builders, but there was no builder involved in this one. So I'm just saying there seems to be a common denominator.
Yeah. I've considered adding a certain percentage to projects that have got a builder on them because even though everyone, like they say, they'll help you out and all the trades will sort of work together, it just always takes longer when there's other people involved.
Oh, absolutely. It does. I don't know what it's like over there. I want you to tell me. Oh, so I'm gonna interview you now.
Okay.
When you go to a site, say it's a new build, and you rock up, is there just crap left everywhere?
Yeah. So I started working for a guy before I actually started my apprenticeship, and I didn't last a few weeks. But in the very
he gave you a hammer and a bloody nail punch, didn't he?
No, he was a hard boss though. So he might have, but I just blocked it out of my mind.
You got scarred.
But he said the last part of the job as a landscaper is cleaning up everyone else's mess because they just leave it all for you.
Oh,
and I'm really big on telling my guys not to leave piles of rubbish because as soon as you start to pile up rubbish, everyone else just chucks their own stuff on it as well. So then you've got to get rid of your stuff and their stuff.
Well, that's the joys of ordering a skip bin. You always have one 2Q bigger so all the other trades can use it because otherwise they're just going to dump it somewhere else. And then they just think, oh, yeah, happy-go-lucky, let's fill it up. Far out. This is awesome. Start emptying their vans of all the McDonald's wrappers. Come on, mate, back off. You got to have a bit of time. But, yeah, I swear to God, sometimes you rock up and you're looking at it going, what has happened here? It's ridiculous. But, hey, that's part of the industry. A lot of people ask, hang on, it's why have you got a skip bin allocated? Well, because I can guarantee we're going to pick up about 18 leaves of bricks and chuck them in the bin.
Yeah, well, I was getting a bit grumpy on one job site because the builders are storing all their stuff where we're trying to get work done. I said, look, this is our workspace. Like, do you want me to store our pavers inside? Like, where you're trying to get work done? It's exactly the same, just because it's outside. But yeah, this is getting a bit grumpy as I get older.
Well, I think sometimes as we are dealing with this constant hangover of the deadly big COVID, I think we're just all getting a bit tired and sick of all the rubbish, metaphorically and physically, because as much as everyone wants to blame COVID, I'm of 100% belief that it's just poor organisation now.
Yeah.
And I refuse to accept that a job is delayed 6 months because of COVID. I mean, yes, there was a big boat blocking a massive channel, but that's done now. We can move on. I'm not going to clients and saying, oh, we can't get travertine for 6 months because I'm booking it 3 months in advance, or I'm making sure that my trades are booked in advance. If I, as a landscaper, can book a concreter in, what's the problem with, like, I'm booking concreters, brickies, and plasterers, which we don't do timber frames over here. So where is the delay? And I know a lot of people are going to sit there and go, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, I actually do, because we're using the exact same materials and the exact same trades to build a landscape as we are people who are building a house. And if I can get that turned around in 3 months, why are people waiting 3 years? And I know that there's a backlog, but there's a backlog for everyone. But you can't turn around and say, we are struggling, we're not getting trades, we are, COVID has meant that there's no bricks, even though they're made 45 minutes down the road. Like, get a grip. They're not coming from Beijing. They're coming from Midland, which is right there. It's so close. So, yeah, I think it's okay to get grumpy. I don't think it's old age. I think it's just we're sick of hearing people's excuses when we're dealing with the exact same hand. And I feel like the secondary and thirdary trades are doing a better job at handling that. Because I don't know. I just quit the bullshit. Just stop blaming stuff. Just do your job, because we're all experiencing it.
Yeah, do your job and also communicate your timelines. Like, if you're not going
to how much more efficient have you become after COVID?
None at all. I was useless beforehand, and I'm still useless now at being efficient.
Well, I mean, we all start somewhere. Maybe now after COVID. But I don't know. You're making those phone calls probably a month before you normally would. You're contacting those suppliers. You're contacting those trades and going, "Are we still on? Have you got the stock?" I think that has been a really positive spin on the whole industry, regardless of landscapers, carpenters, concreters. Everyone's talking a lot more. And then we're going, right, let's rock up to site. And then the builder's going, oh, sorry, mate. Yeah. Haven't even got a roof on. What? Where have you been? So, oh well. Enough negativity.
Before we do finish with the negativity, we've just come from a job where I was getting heaps of other subcontractors in to help do it because of specialised roles they were doing. And I was let down by 3 different subcontractors on that one, just with delays and stuff. And now the job we're working on now, the client and designer were blown away with how fast we're going. And I said to my guys the other day how amazing it feels. We're flying along because we're completely in control of this one. We're not relying on anyone else. The
real battle is when a builder says to you, do you just want to come in a bit earlier? And you go, absolutely not. I want to be the last person on site.
Yep.
And they'll be like, no, come on, you can do it. And you go lay some beautiful steppers or some crazy paving or something. You rock up back there and it's just been absolutely shredded to bits. And you go, thanks, mate. And then they turn around and go, well, I'm not paying to get it replaced. And you go, well, of course you're not. This is why I don't come in early. You have to be the last trade. We are effectively, if you were to be a painter inside, you're the last trade. We are there to beautify and pretty much, as my old leading hand used to call it, we are Thor. We come in and steal the thunder because you've got this 3-year build and everyone hates the builder. They hate all the trades. And then you come in and you smash out a job in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And everyone turns around and goes, oh, these guys are the best. And you're like, I know, right? Look at us go. And that's just not me. That's everyone in the landscaping industry, because we are. Because everyone stares at a sandpit for 3 years. Well, that's what it's like over here. And then you get a landscape in a couple of weeks and people go, gee, you guys are amazing. And you're like, yeah, but you wouldn't believe it. I've rescheduled this job 8 times. I'm just happy to get it done.
Yeah. When the plants go in, everyone gets excited about it then.
Oh, mate, I get excited. Love softscapes. That's my jam. You have to.
Yeah.
What's your jam? Are you a hardscaper, softscaper?
Well, I was hardscaper, but I've softened to the softscaping side of things. So now I like balance of both, but I would lean towards the plants. It just makes such a massive difference when you get the right ones.
Oh, absolutely. Do you find that's your best go-to when you're trying to save on budget, when you can just drop the plant sizes down a bit?
No, that's the last thing I drop because I don't want the plants to be reduced at all.
Really? So what would you rather sacrifice? Would you rather sacrifice the stone, or would you downgrade the stone? Or
Yeah.
would you? No way.
Yeah, there's still some good, like bluestone's the cheapest stone, and that still looks all right.
Oh, I'm in the wrong state. Gee whiz. Bluestone's the cheapest stone. Wow,
You could probably get limestone cheaper, I imagine.
who wants that? Seriously.
Victorians do.
Oh no. Well, no. Let them have it. We'll send trainloads over it over. If you can replace it with bluestone back this way, that would be great, because wow, what a treat. I don't know. I think if you can wait 6 months, you're going to get a 14 centimeter plant's going to be a 5 litre plant anyway. Just be patient.
I don't have patience for plants though.
Well, it's not. You can't see it from your house.
Yeah, but I can see it. I've got to take my photos for Instagram.
Yeah, no, and that's the other thing, isn't it? You don't want to be waiting 6 months for all the weeds and stuff to go on. If you've got a client that doesn't like gardening, you rock up back there and you go, what happened here? That's a nightmare.
Yeah, so I'll pop back in 12 months and take some photos, and you go back and then think, nah, I'll use the other photos I took beforehand.
Take photos the day you leave, mate, because the mulch is still black as anything. It's gorgeous. The grass is mint. You get a really nice angle so you can't see the lines in the rollout grass, and you go, look at this. Then you go back 12 months later and you go, what have you done? What have you read anything that I sent you? I did that actually. There was a real, I'm going to call it, there was just a real patch there where I got upset with people, because I was getting like emails a year and a half after installs, and they're going, oh, the lawn's got a brown patch, come and replace it. I'm going, well, have you given it fertilizer? Have you fed it? Have you, done a wetting agent? Have you done anything? No, we've just left it. What? And I was like, it's like a kid. You don't just put it in its bedroom and not feed it. Like, it's going to die. It's a bit extreme, but realistically, so what I did is I went to this wicked company called Lawn Pride. I don't know if you have them over there. And I said, I'm having a real hard time with clients not looking after their lawn. So I put together this kit. So any job that I quote, I put in this kit, $150, and you get a fertilizer, you get a herbicide, a pesticide, a wetting agent, and then just a nitrogen hit. And they're all plug and play bottles. So none of this like, oh, what's my dosage and all that. Plug your hose in and just spray it till it runs out. I haven't had an email for like at least a year, because for just that little bit of peace of mind. And then I give them the little, this is spring, this is autumn, this is winter, this is summer. When that time comes around, get your hose out, mate. It's spray time. And it's made a huge difference. And our jobs look greener for longer. Like, the care is so much, and people get a bit more involved, because I don't know what it is. It's not like a house where you just leave it and it stays there. This is a living, breathing organism. And if you don't nurture it, it's going to look like shit. Like, it will. So, yeah, that was an interesting one.
That's a great idea, though.
Oh, honestly, mate, I get 10 of them delivered every time I'm down to like 2 packs. I just get another 10 delivered. You don't make anything on them. I think I pay $135, so I charge them out at $150. So I make $15 for my time. There you go. Couple of beer tokens. But it's for peace of mind that I know when I drove past one of my jobs, or someone else drives past one of our jobs, they can go, gee, that lawn looks nice. And I mean, I never was, but I am a bit of one of those guys now where I look at my neighbour's lawn and go, come on, mate. Might spray a little bit on his side just to give it a bit of love, see if he wants to join the party. But, you got to have lawn battles.
Yeah.
Dead lawns aren't cool, man. They're not sexy.
No. So how many staff do you have now? So you started out with one after a few years, and how many are you at the moment?
We are a deceptively small unit. There's me and 2 other guys. We're the start of a bad joke, really. We've got a Kiwi, a Pom, and a Scot. Tish, man. So, yeah, here I am, just busting out, having a good time. Hired Callan, who's my 25-year-old little legend. We call him the Ox because sometimes he just gets in a mood and just loves pushing a barrow. And to be honest, they're the workers you want because, wow, I don't want to do that.
That's my favorite thing to do.
Oh, man. What, your favorite thing to do? Push barrows?
Yeah.
Something wrong with you. That's all. Wow. Gee whiz. We were having such a good time and you went and said that. Yeah, and then I had Callum for a couple of years and I thought, gee whiz, we are subbing out so much work just to keep up with the load. And a lot of that ended up being hardscapes because it was the time-consuming part of it. Just the set out and the wet laying of paving and block laying, brick laying, all that jazz. Subbing out so much. It ended up being about 35 to 40% of our expenditure was being subbed out in that element. You know, steppers and all that jazz we were doing ourselves. And I thought, nah, I've got to find someone. So just as COVID hit, I jumped on our good charity Seek, gave them a little bit more money because, you know, it's what we love doing, just watching it disappear and get nothing in return. But I realized that if you go for the second option, you can actually start stalking people, you know, people that match your criteria. So I went full safari and went poaching. And here's little Ronnie, Scottish legend, 63 years old. Just, oh, mate, you wouldn't think it. Far out. He's fitter than me. And hey, you give him a rubber mallet and a level and he's just smashed it. So there's three of us. And I have now reached a point in our business where I'd love another. I'm very realistically aware that that's not going to happen to get a fourth because it's just impossible. I went out last night because I heard unicorns come out at midnight, but I didn't see any. And yeah, I realized that three's our number. And if I'm on site and if I can go and do those quotes as we spoke about earlier and I can come back, they are so happy just working together and smashing it out. And we just have a good time. We get through jobs very fast. And Ron is, because he's from that kind of stonemason background, he's just a freak for attention to detail. So I don't really have to, I'll have a quick peek at his work, but I'm not going to pick at it because he'll probably belt me. He's 63. You're like, what do you know? Nothing, mate. Keep going. Like, just do you. So yeah, we're three. And I'd love to be four, Joel. I would, but it's just not possible. Like financially it is, but in the real world out here, there's absolutely zero chance that we're going to get a fourth worker that, well, I'm happy to bring someone on, a junior, and I will train them to the nth degree. But I just don't think they exist right now. Because you can work at McDonald's on a Sunday and get $35 an hour. And probably 6 McNuggets, which are wicked. Like, you know, there are real weird opportunities out there, and I'd love them to just be like, no, I want to be a landscaper. It's raining. Well, go to McDonald's. Yeah. But yeah, that's the struggle. It has been since COVID. It's a struggle for everyone. It's no surprise. I'm amazed that everyone is still so upbeat and chirpy about it all that there is just no stuff. It's like headbutting a brick wall, but the brick wall's still there, so we'll keep headbutting.
Do you look at a company like TDL and think, how the hell do they have 120 staff?
I won't lie, I've seen a couple of poaching emails and nothing's come from that. Look, I know a lot of people that have been on your podcast. I think probably 4 of them have all worked for TDL.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely proud to say that I worked there, because when I say to a client that I can give them that finish because I worked in that environment and I know what those levels need to be, that whole institution, and it's an institution. People want to go and work for that brand because they are awesome. And I have no shame in saying that, because I came from there. Are they going to go with a company that has 80 people, or are they going to go with a company that has 3? There's job security with 80, because you know for a fact that you ain't, I mean, if you're really bad at digging a hole, you're probably going to get shafted, but come work for me after that. But I mean, they have the business model that they can handle. You can lose a bit of lack of skill in that environment because there's so many numbers. But if that comes into our environment, there's so much more input required, which I have no problem with. But what's happening during those 2 hours that I'm out quoting, and the boys are hard at it trying to get the hardscaping done or a retic system in place. Do I want to make a junior feel uncomfortable because I've disappeared? And not that I'm his babysitter or mentor, but it's like that Will Ferrell movie. What do I do with my hands? I don't know. Grab a shovel, like do something. But it's I just love one more, mate. It's like, yeah, I think we all would.
Well, 3 is a pretty good number because
How many you got?
I've got the same. I've got 2 qualified guys, and I've got an apprentice starting on Monday. But one of my qualified guys is looking for other work in a different industry. So it'll be 3 of us eventually as well.
Just ring the company that he's going to and saying like he's real dodgy or something, so he has to stay.
Nah, it's more. He's realised that landscaping is hard on your body, so doesn't want to end up walking like a concreter, hunched over.
Yeah, I made the mistake of trying to be a hero about 6 months ago, lifting these bluestone steppers, and we usually get the 600 to 700 ones, but I got a bit of a bonus pack and got some meter ones in there, and I thought, oh yeah, that's nice. And then I did myself a little disc, had a slip disc for about 4 months. I suppose you never really get rid of it, but wowee, that humbles you. Yeah, it is hard on the body. Far out.
But with having 3, you've got the 2 there when you're not there, and then when you are there, you can smash out a lot more. So would 100%. Would you have multiple jobs going if you had an extra one?
It's a really good question. I don't think I'd have multiple jobs. Well, yes, because currently we do have multiple jobs running. So we'll have our wonderful Bobcat driver go in and clear a site out. Then I'll send the concreter in. Then I'll send the carpenter in if need be, and then I'll send the fences in. But I think that's the beauty of having such reliant trades. You can run a couple of projects at once. I mean, I could have a pergola, a deck, a beautiful composite outdoor shower or cladding, full concrete honed around a pool and a pool fence in, and I've been to site twice. And then I rock up and do the retic, planting, steel edging, lighting, all that jazz. But you've effectively got 40% to 60% of a job already completed, and you haven't actually done anything. So in terms of having multiple jobs running at once, the answer is yes, but I don't think I'd actually have our structural kind of model on 2, because I think, though I want to trust that we can do a good job without supervision, it's still a brand that I'm extremely proud of. And if I look away for too long, do I lose touch? Do I lose what our brand represents? And that's the risk. Because whilst if I did get a 4th member and I took that member onto site and we started digging in main lines and doing retic and doing soil prep and all that, though I trust the guys on the project down the road, is there a real small corner being cut? Is there a real minuscule oversight that, though the client might not see, someone else might, and that might affect our future projects? It might, it takes, as we all know, you get 100 good reviews, it takes 1 to bring the whole castle down. And do you risk having that 1 just so you can go on another project and potentially make more money? I don't think so. I think run 1 project and do those background jobs where you have your trusted trades doing the work. But I've found kind of a bit of a zen spot where I can go, oh yeah, sweet, concrete's done, carpentry's done, we can go in and smash that one out. And your turnover's ticking over and you're having a really good time in terms of the back end. Why stress out? I mean, I hold all my plants here in a holding nursery at home. Why should I have 2,000 plants sitting here when I only need 800? And then I can just chop and change that. Or I think you're just adding too much stress. Yeah. You are, because then what if something delays and you've got all those outgoings on one job and it delays by a month? Say there's a leak in the pool and it sinks a bit and they've got to come in and lift it or something. Or, God knows, the amount of crap we get told these days, it could be soil compaction. It's a lawn, mate. Don't worry about it. But, it could be anything. And then you've invested all that capital in a job and then you expose yourself. I mean, there's another massive thing that we haven't really discussed. It's financial exposure. Like, I know that you and Hoppo were talking about a while back, you were talking about charging for quotes and stuff. But do you do progress or do you do a larger deposit when you start a job so that you don't expose yourself?
So because we have to be registered with the BBA, the Victorian Building Authority, so you have to have your building license for structural landscaping, we can only charge a 5% deposit for projects over 20 grand. Like, you're legally not allowed to charge more than that.
Oh my God.
So,
What?
and then you can't charge for things that you haven't done either. But I'll send an invoice to order the paving because I have to pay for that up front.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then in the contract, there's set timelines or set goals that you have to meet before you can send an invoice. So, but I decide what those, it's not timelines, but whatever the word is, I decide when they are. So I'll say there's a certain percentage when the underpaving's poured, a certain percentage when this is done. And I've learned a lot over the years on how to do that better because I was doing them. I didn't want to have to send 15 invoices. So I would do larger amounts, but then I was finding that the cash flow was struggling because I had to tick off too many boxes before I could send that invoice. So now I'll have 15 different invoices of $5 grand each. So if I do multiple at once, that's fine. But if I just, if I do the underpaving, I can send an invoice. If I put the drainage in, I can send an invoice. So I could do it a lot smaller amounts, but more often. So that helps with cash flow a lot more.
Wow. Gee, it really is the Wild West over here. We don't have to register with anyone. Come over here, you have a far better time. But no, I mean, I guess the same things apply, but I try and get, when I order, especially during that mid-COVID period where we were, one of our suppliers was selling all of his travertine out of containers that were still in the middle of the ocean. So by the time they landed, the entire container was sold. So you'd call them and say, look, I need 60 square meters of, 6x4 cream travertine. He'd be like, sweet as. It's 4 months away. It just left wherever it came from. And you would buy it out of a shipping container that's sitting on a boat in the middle of the ocean. And I'd say to clients, like, I've paid for all of that. And though your job's not for 6 months, I need that money. Like, and there's a trust barrier there that you kind of have to build. And I think as landscapers, I don't know, we're all a quirky bunch, but I think we're trusted that you can get that expenditure. I don't think you're going to say to a builder, or a builder's going to say to a client, I need you to give me 20 grand so I can pour your slab. And then you just stare at your backyard of sand until the slab gets poured. Like, it's a bit different. We're going, well, I've had to buy your stone from a shipping container bobbing up and down in the middle of the ocean. Do you want to maybe give me some money? And that's like, because otherwise you're just going to crumple yourself. Imagine if you had 500 square meters of trav in the next 6 months and it's just bobbing in the ocean and you're just watching your money slowly float towards Perth. Come on, get there faster. You get out there and just push the boat yourself, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's hard. Builders have to. They've got their certain things they have to abide by as well. So they can't invoice for a slab until the slab has been poured. So it depends when you've got to pay for all the materials on that, whether you've got accounts or not. But yeah,
do you do when you've fully completed the job? And I'm only asking this because it sounds like we're in completely different phases of just like legality. When you finish a job, are you able to invoice its entirety on completion, or do you have to wait a certain period in case something goes wrong, like a little grace period?
No, they invoice the final amount. So I have like maybe 5% owing when the job is completed. So the rest has been through progress payments. I've seen a quote where someone did 1% when it was completed. So that's a bit rude, I think. It's kind of because they do that
so they can sit there and stare at the garden and hope
they're kind of covering themselves in case the client's not happy at the very end for that last
Oh, so sorry, I thought you meant the client, and I'm thinking, why would a client do that? They're just sitting out there with binoculars waiting for one plant to wilt, so they can be like,
So if it's $100,000 job, they're only going to get $1,000 when it's finished because they've got everything. They've got the other 99% already. So if they're whinging about something, it's only $1,000 everything out. Yeah.
You get it.
A bit rude.
You do get that though. Sometimes you're looking at it going, "Oh, please don't be that client." We all experience it. Yeah. I think, yeah. There's no other job I'd rather have. I mean, it's extremely fun, but it comes with its unique challenges, just like any other industry.
That's fun. So you got recommended to me by Carla Ramsland from Our House. So how did you meet her and start getting those type of projects?
So I don't know how it's kind of eventuated, but we have, I'd say all of our design referrals are from 3 really successful, wonderful women in the industry. So we've got Carla, then we have Kelsey Davies from KDLA, then we have Kerry from Project Artichoke. We started with Kerry, then we went to Kelsey, and we've still got Kerry and we've got Kelsey. And then Carla, she found us on Instagram, and we did a project together in Shenton Park, and it was awesome. She is so, like, when she has a client, they know everything about each other. They're brilliant because she sees into their brain exactly how they move, how they want their space. So when you're in there reading the plans, you're like, far out. It's like you're building their master bedroom. Like, it's very intimate how she, talks about the clients talk to her. And when you get that install and when you get it right, far out, it came together like a piece of art. But yeah, we're working together on a new little project that is going to lead to bigger stuff in the future, which is really exciting because she just thinks differently. I really like how she thinks. Her plans are very detailed. Sometimes I'm like, far out, I'm on page 8 and I still don't know what I'm building. But I think that in many ways that's a good thing. Absolutely. Because more information the better. It's better than just getting a scribbled 2D Faber-Castell like I give to some of my clients. But yeah, I really enjoy working with Carla and Kelsey and Kerry because far out, we get a huge volume of work from them. And as time goes by, you know how you work with these people and you know their expectations and you know all the little intricacies that they need done, and you don't glaze over them. You don't just go, oh, we could do it this way. Don't do it that way. Just do it their way. Because they've done all the hard work for you. Especially like these 3 women have been out there. They've met the client. They've got the brief. They've got the budget, which is like the best thing you could possibly get because, you asked that question. How much do you want to spend? 10,000. Well, you're not going to have a pool, are you? Seriously. You know it. I know it. Let's not annoy, we won't go into that. We've done enough negativity. But yeah, they've done all the hard work. So when they give you their pride and joy of, the fruit of all of these conversations, you look at that and you go, oh yeah, I'm going to build the hell out of this. And you do. And some of them are quite simple. Some of them are quite intricate. But that's not the designer sometimes. That's the client. And I really appreciate who we work with, and I love it. We get 80% of our designed work is referrals from mostly from those 3 wonderful designers. And I won't call them designers. They're all landscape architects, which is completely different. Let's not diminish their skills because they are extremely talented landscape architects.
So have you ever done your own designs on any project?
Well, yes. I don't know if you've heard of a brand called Faber-Castell. Far out. You should see some of the stuff I do with that. I bought the watercolor pencils, but I haven't been brave enough to paint them yet. But yeah, let's be honest. You're not going to show it to your mates, are you? But you can get the idea across to a client. I really want to get into that space, not so I can sit back in the office and do that. I would just really like my vision when a client does ask for something that I don't quite think needs a landscape architect. I just like to give them a 2D that they can really get into and really see. I mean, I put some mega detail into the Faber-Castell, but it's just not quite that CAD, but I love it, draw a circle, there's your bluestone stepper. Draw a real weird looking dot with some limbs coming off it, there's your frangipani. But, you try. You really do try, but there's only so much you can do with colouring in pencils. Because we are a small team, I am very limited. I'd love to take a computer to site so I could really delve into that. And I think that harks back to what I was talking about with the lack of tertiary education in our state. Because had that been an option, I probably would have gone down that path. And there may have been that little shoot where I could have learned 2 hours a week just doing some, Vectorworks or SketchUp or whatever. But I don't have that ability. So I have to work with what I've got, with the time that I've got. And to be honest, the end result of that is a house plan with some really, oh man, so detailed sketches. I mean, envious. I'm not going to show you one because, they're copyright and trademarked.
Steal your ideas.
Nah, they're shit house. The ideas are there. The execution of the drawing is really bad.
I've heard of some clients loving the design, like a sketch design, so much that they frame it as well. Have you had any do that? Yours?
I've probably had the opposite, to be honest, Joel, which is quite saddening. When you get the 3D fly through, and it hasn't happened from my lovely landscape architects, but it has happened on one project from one individual designer, landscape architect here in Perth. And the client had this amazing walkthrough. And I was like, oh my God, that's not going to look anything like that for like 3 years. Because the budget was one thing, the plant acquisition was the other. I mean, we still bought in a 500-litre tree, but the one in this 3D concept was like, mate, it was huge. It was massive. And the way the lights lit it up, gee whiz, it may as well have been a Christmas tree in Fed Square, It looked mega. And here I am putting my Hunza lights underneath it and it lights up and I'm going, that looks mega. And they're going, that looks shit. And I'm like, it's a 3D concept. Like we can only do what we can do. And I mean, this tree got craned in, so it wasn't small. But yeah, that's the other side of the coin where you're like, yes, it's a great design. It's going to take a wee while to get there. And you've got to be patient. And if you don't have the budget to buy those 150 per unit, hedging plants or feature plants, and we're dealing with a $30 budget per unit. Play the game. Come on. I'm here for 2 weeks. Don't make it a really unenjoyable experience because I'm not upset that you don't have the budget. I'm upset that your expectations are set too high because of a 3D drawing that is based 4 years in the future. And that's it. I'd love it if one of my clients went out and took a photo and then framed it. I'd be like, yeah, you're welcome. Give me one. I want one of those. That looks awesome. But I'm not that landscaper. I mean, I am in installs. We take great pride in it, but I've never had a framed one sent to me. Have you?
No, I was talking the design that when you draw the design.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine getting one of those sent back. Walk into their beautiful outdoor patio and here's your Faber-Castell in all its glory, just sitting there. They've even got it blown up onto a big canvas from Bali because they're that proud. Looks nothing like the installed finished product, but just the effort put into that drawing. I swear, sometimes I put more effort into the drawing than I do the quote. Oh, it's embarrassing.
I'd love it if it did look like that drawing though. It's like when you see those. There's I don't know if they're memes where a kid will draw a dog and then they show what that looks like as a real dog. Yeah. It's got no body, it's just a head with legs, and that's what the garden looks like.
Well, I think I would have been out of business about 6 years ago. So lucky enough, it was just retic back then. I didn't have to draw a Faber-Castell for that. This is very fresh. This is new. Right. Talk to me in another 6 years. We'll see if I've actually meant. I would have just started adding water to the Faber-Castell to get that real bleed effect. I really want the turf to look real.
Yeah. Well, I don't do any drawings at all, so you're ahead of me in that regard.
So are you the same? You get it all given to you?
No, I do
We don't
designs.
get it given to us. We own it. But yeah.
No, I do designs, but I don't do hand drawings. I'll use CAD.
How do you find the time, man? Come on.
Well, I don't at the moment. So I've got a landscape architect, so she does it.
Yeah, well, there you go. But when you did find the time, what are you using? Just so I can, on my off time.
Oh, I use Landworks CAD, but I would use Vectorworks if I was going to learn again.
I looked at Vectorworks. Bit of a pricey little number, isn't it?
It's not as expensive as Landworks CAD, and it's got better things about it, and it looks better, more presentable. But when you think about what you can charge for design, it pays for itself easily.
And look, I would never take away from the cost of that because there is so much time that goes into it. Though once you become really savvy with the operation of the product itself in terms of the software, you can smash that stuff out. But the actual time that you spend on site, the real nuts and bolts getting down to what these clients actually want, there's a lot of time and the back and forth.
Mm.
And I know some designers are out there charging, 20 grand. Probably not that much time on site, but 3.5, 5, 6 grand, absolutely. Because there is weeks. And then you send this beautiful design through, and then they go, close. Not quite. Can we turn that square into a pentagon? Yeah, why not? Knock your socks off. Because that's easy. I'd love to do it. But again, just don't have the time. And to be honest, I don't think I could handle the look that my Faber-Castells gave me afterwards. I'd feel like I've let them down. Maybe that's my name.
When you've whittled them down and there's no lead left in there, then you can look at doing
Maybe when the pack's gone. So to be fair, I've had that pack for 3 years and I've probably sharpened about 1 centimetre off each pencil. So that probably gives you a really good idea how just in demand my designs are.
Yeah.
Personally, I think they're amazing, but they're shit. They're crap. Instagram and Pinterest, that's where you get my designs from. Just, does it look like this? Yeah, I can put that in for you. Go for gold.
Yeah.
What else we got? What else we missed today? Are you in a phase where you think you can go full design, or are you going to stay on the tools? Are you going to evolve your business so that Joel's landscape designs, or are you just going to sit with install and be like, this is us, we're installers? Or are you going to have 2 different parts of it?
It's a good question. I think the staff I've got don't have any interest in running projects, so I can only do construction at the moment as long as I can do construction. And I don't do everything, but I need to sort of be on site every couple of days, providing direction for it. But I could switch to design without a shadow of a doubt and just be 100% design. But I love the construction, so that's what I want to do for as long as I can.
That's the best thing, because if you do the design and construction all in one, you can see that beautiful journey from design to construction, and then you sit there after what could possibly be an 18-month journey from empty site to a house to a completed landscape, and you go, far out, how was that for a ride? That was epic. And then you're looking at it in that final phase from that first site meeting where you're sitting there and there is not even a slab down. Like, that's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. Like, I've only been starting to push the design for like 12 months, but that's how long it takes for a design to get before we start building it. We're that booked out. So we're just starting to do projects that I've designed. And yeah, we finished one recently. It took ages to finish it, but we finished it and I thought, this looks amazing. Well, it heaps better than I thought it was going to look. So,
well, that's it, because sometimes though we all have great vision in terms of what it's going to end up looking like, it always surprises you when your ideas are put in place and you go, far out, that looks better. Yeah. Or that flows better, or it feels better. It's just a more fluid space. I think it's one of those industries that it forever surprises you. You think you've seen it all, and then you go, still got it. Still.
Yeah. Like, I've got a very continuous improvement mindset. So I'm always thinking, we could have done this. We'll do this different the next time. And I should have put more plants in. But overall, I loved it.
I don't think we'll ever reach a point where, and I'm happy to say it, and I'm not ashamed to say it, every job is a lesson and you're always going to make small mistakes. Thankfully, touch wood, I haven't yet made large mistakes that have cost me huge amounts of money, but I think I'm long enough into the tenor now where I won't make those big mistakes. But every job is different and exciting, and you will learn. And you'll make those small mistakes and go, oh, shit, probably might have put one more sprinkler on too much, or might have not prepped that area just as much as I want. And you go and repair it, but it's always a lesson. And that's the best thing about it. And if you were to do that in your design phase, you'd probably be able to really create spaces that are going to be more suited to your style of install as well. And you'll really not only just see the fruits of your labor, but you'll probably profit off that, where you go, hang on, we can do this really funky layout here, whether it's, I saw those beautiful crazy plating steps that you did. We won't talk about the after, but the before was gorgeous. But, you know, you can start implementing those kind of elements into it that you love doing, that are hugely time consuming, but also quite profitable. I mean, we're all in this game to make money also. We're not going to lie about that, but you can really push your agenda, which is nice. And I don't think I'm in that position now where I want to push my agenda, because I love building 3 wonderful landscape architects, different ideas and different brains, because they all have different styles, which excites me, because you're not just back to back, like here's a cookie cutter, blah, 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 blah. Bugger that. But on your side of the coin, yeah, you might not be able to design just now, but every job you're doing, you'd be like, oh, I reckon we could do it like this and implement that kind of style. Or that's exciting, isn't it? I don't know. Does that get your rocks off? Gets my rocks off.
Yeah. And the way you're doing it is the way I'm doing it as well, working for different designers, and you're picking up little bits and pieces that they do as well. So then that just sort of creates your unique style. So then when you're designing projects, you could think, oh, we did this when we worked for this designer, and we could tweak it a little bit so it looks a bit different.
Do you think that as installers, I mean, I'm not going to call you just an installer, because you design as well. And let's be honest, I design as well. But do you think that as installers, we have a style? Because I don't actually know if I do. Like, you've got a plan, but clearly there's a way that we do things that I don't know if it's blatantly obvious like a designer's, but is it obvious in a way that someone looks at it and goes, I reckon Install did that, I reckon BTL did that?
I don't think so. I reckon it would have, it comes back to the design.
It's a shit answer. I was hoping for a bit more than that.
Yeah, well, I think you can see things differently, but we're not.
No, I mean, there is a difference though between, like, you could get 2 different companies could get the same design, and I do think they'd look different. Like, it could be in the stock that they select. What's the priority of the stock? Is it the feature plants? Is it the hedging plants? Is it the ground covers? Is it the look of the tree? You could have 20 trees in a row. Which one do they pick? Like, there's obviously differences in people's eyes. I'm not saying that you're looking at someone's job and going, oh, I could have done that better. No way am I saying that. But what am I saying? What I'm saying is, I think there is companies out there that would go the extra mile to make that look better.
Yeah, it could be something as invisible as like putting drainage in soil. Like, you don't do that over in your.
It's just beach sand, mate. That stuff's gone.
But yeah,
we try and keep it in the soil, not get rid of it.
Yeah, but soil conditioning, regardless of whether you're adding clay or removing clay, that can be something that no one sees, but it makes such a massive difference long term for the project. So some people might do that, and some might not.
So how much are you stripping off a site, like depth wise?
They usually want 200 mil at least. Take it off.
God damn, that's massive. And you got rocks and stuff?
It depends where you are. It's such a different. Like, every suburb is different pretty much. When we're in like in the Ballerine Peninsula, like in Port Lonsdale, it's just pure sand, and every now and then there's limestone floaters as well.
Yep.
So that's probably as close to WA as you would get in terms of the
literally
soil.
Sand. If you go to the hills, you get the heavy red rock. So try to stay away from the hills. And if you go to Fremantle, you get like really heavy, just a real substrate of limestone. And you go plant a tree, and you're sitting there on the Jimmy Bar for hours just trying to dig a hole. But predominantly speaking, it's just sand. Happy digging. Like, seriously, you grab a shovel and you go, this is dream run.
Yeah.
Every now and then you hit yourself a little limestone. You go, hello, old friend. We meet again. Let's see how this one goes.
See if this is the size of a basketball or a car.
Yeah, no, that's the best thing about that. You become a bit of an archaeologist and you go, whoa, is this going to take me 4 hours or 40 minutes? Let's go on a journey together. Yeah, no, it's good. It's fun. Luckily enough, sometimes I'll be quoting when that happens. Hopefully, most days.
Yeah,
So that I can
you hit it and you go, I've just got to duck off for a minute.
That looks like a really big rock. Very proud of you for removing that. Really, really sorry I couldn't be here for it. Gee, that makes me sound like an asshole. I'm not, but I have done it many a times. I think that's the beauty of being the business owner, isn't it? I'm out drawing my Faber-Castells, trying to bring some work in.
Someone's got to do it. Last question for you, Brady, is who do you think would be a good guest to have on the podcast?
There's two. One of them is not in the industry, which I think is quite controversial, but I think you would really enjoy them. They're called the T&K Loft. They have just been interviewed by Gardening Australia on ABC. They have transformed this brick loft in Perth to probably one of the most insane indoor plant meccas you could ever think of. It's just, they've put in humidifiers, they've got built in inside their apartment, they've built planter beds, they've got some of the most incredible growth you'll see in Perth, considering that it's just blazing hot, ridiculous. Have a look at them. Maybe not interview them, but yeah, honestly, Drew and Nicole are the best. They will. I was meant to go see them last week, but I didn't quite get out there. But have a look. Second one, which I think would be really interesting, is one of my old supervisors from TDL, Tony Green. He is now one of Perth's, I'd say not one of, he is Perth's leading waterfall, natural swimming pool, natural kind of stream, pondless streams, all naturally filtered. His work during COVID, I started watching a lot of his work and it kind of gave me a passion again. When I was just slipping into the abyss, like, oh, my life sucks, I was watching his work, and that's a guy that reinvented his whole company. He was a landscaper and then he found this niche and has just bulldozed straight into it. Man, it's cool. Like, he has transformed people's swimming pools into natural swimming pools. That's how cool it is, with fish. So you're swimming with fish, man. That's mad. Yeah. Like, that's cool as. So yeah, I really think, even to your listeners, just have a look at them. T&K Loft and Think Green Landscapes. You will be blown away with, I think, two people that have gone, I'm going to break the norm, or three people, sorry, break the norm and just kind of push that unbeaten track, which is highly risky, but they've both pulled it off. And gee, they both inspire me. I think they're wicked. I'm just a humble little landscaper, and these are pioneers in their trade. I love it.
It's a good example of, choosing a niche, going down by the side.
And like Drew and Nicole, they're not even like, they're not in the trade, but they've just gone, do you reckon we can turn this apartment into a jungle? And they bloody have. And to be honest, you look at their Instagram and man, it's like walking into the Amazon, but you're in Perth. Mind you, it's 40 degrees in the middle of summer, and here they are cranking a humidifier. You'd be like, yeah, this is a good place to be. Crack a bintang.
Brady, I reckon I've had, I don't know if it's in the 90s anyway, 90 guests on the podcast, and this has been the most enjoyable I've had in that whole time.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really
appreciate it, man. It's been great.
And, yeah, hell of a lot of fun. So thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, hey, and if anyone wants to see some wicked Faber-Castells, just email me, I'm your guy.